went from making $65,000 as an articling student to $110,000 as a lawyer. How did I handle this big jump in income? Let's talk about it, starting with lifestyle creep. So what exactly is lifestyle creep? It's basically when you start making more money and then without even realizing it, you start spending more money too. It happens gradually. You get a raise and then suddenly the budget you had before starts to feel a little tight. As a law student, you probably had to live frugally out of necessity. But once you start your legal career and that paycheck increases, it's easy to fall into the trap of upgrading your lifestyle, from nicer apartments to more dinners out to maybe even a new car. And before you know it, your expenses have crept up to match your new income. That's lifestyle creep. It can sneak up on you, and if you're not careful, it can keep you from saving and meeting your financial goals. How do you know if lifestyle creep is happening to you? Here are some signs. Your savings aren't growing. Even with a bigger paycheck, your savings or investments aren't growing the way they should. Feeling the pressure to keep up. If you start feeling like you need expensive things just to fit in or maintain a certain image, that's a red flag. You're relying on credit cards. If you're using credit to maintain your new lifestyle, it might be a sign that you're overspending. Spending without thinking. If you find yourself spending more without really considering if it's worth it or if it aligns with your goals, lifestyle creep might be to blame. Recognizing these signs early can help you stay on track financially and help you avoid falling into the trap of lifestyle creep. I didn't know what lifestyle creep was until my third year of law school, when I started thinking about my finances more seriously and about what will happen when I graduate with up to $60,000 in loans. Now let's talk about how to manage lifestyle creep. Read financial education books. Once I started articling and earning a steady income, I realized it was time to start taking my finances seriously. And for me, the best way to learn something new is through books. Here are a couple that really changed how I think about money. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. This book taught me that good financial habits like patience, humility, and long-term thinking matter more than technical knowledge. One lesson that really stuck with me is that spending money to impress others is the fastest way to have less money. No one really cares about yourself as much as you do. People admire the fancy house or the car, not the person that owns it. So buying things to gain respect just doesn't work. Your money or your life. This book completely changed my perspective on money. It shows you that you're actually trading your time and energy for money. It teaches you how to track your spending, save more, and to invest smartly to reach financial independence. If you want to take control of your finances, then these books are a great place to start. For the first few years, keep living like a student. You've been living the life of a student up until now, so keep doing it. Here are some examples of how you can continue this. If you have a good relationship with your parents, continue living at home. Use transit, don't buy a car if you don't need it. Stick to happy hour schedules at restaurants, or even better, meal prep and cook at home. Borrow books from the library instead of buying. Use student discounts, as many places and businesses still offer discounts even after graduation. Keeping the same lifestyle that I had when I was a student, I didn't end up spending all of my new income. Prioritize paying down your high interest debts. I was uncomfortable carrying such a high balance on my student loans, so I made paying it off a top priority. Around 60% of my monthly income went straight towards my student loans. Any debt with an interest rate that is higher than 6 to 7% should be at the top of your list to pay off. This includes things like credit cards, which have interest rates as high as 19 to 25%. That's a huge drain on your income. It also includes private student loans, personal loans with high interest rates, and definitely payday loans. Avoid these if you can. High interest debt is dangerous because it grows fast. If you're only making minimum payments towards this debt, you end up paying more than you originally borrowed. Plus, it eats into your income. It makes it harder to save and invest for your future. There are two popular ways to tackle high interest debt. There's the avalanche method. This is where you pay off the debt with the highest interest rate first while making minimum payments on the rest. It saves you the most money on interest in the long run. Then there's the snowball method. If you need a little more motivation, this might be the way to go. You pay off the smallest debt first for quick wins, then move on to the next smallest debt. It gives you a sense of accomplishment early on, which can keep you going. Choose the method that works best for you. But the key is to start paying off your high interest debt as soon as possible. It'll free up your income so you can get ahead financially. Where does OSAP fall into this? If you have OSAP loans that are currently in repayment status, did you know that there are two portions to the loan, a federal and a provincial portion? At the time of making this video, the federal portion currently has a 0% interest rate, while the provincial portion has an interest rate of 6.2%. To avoid paying interest, you can direct your OSAP payments to cover the provincial portion only. To do this, you'll need to mail a check and a letter to the National Student Loan Service Center Center. In the letter, include your full name, social insurance number or loan number, how much you're paying, and how much of the payment you want to go to the Ontario portion. Your loan must be up to date, and you still need to make your regular monthly payment. Make the check out to the National Student Loan Service Center, and write your 7-digit loan number in the memo portion of the check. And then you have to mail it to the National Student Loan Service Center at this address. For a detailed breakdown on how to do this, check out the Reddit post linked in the description box below. Keep in mind, 0% interest rate on the federal portion of the loan can change with the new government, but for now it's a great way to save on interest. Set financial goals early. It's easier to manage your spending when you have long-term goals. After paying off all my law school debt, I had all this extra money. At first, it's tempting to think, wow, I can finally spend this on fun stuff. And without long-term goals, it's easy to let that money slip through your fingers. For me, having clear financial goals has been a game changer. When I finished paying off my law school debt, my next priority was saving up an emergency fund. I wanted at least 4 months of rent and expenses saved up. Why? Because life happens. Unexpected costs like a car repair or even losing your job can happen out of nowhere. Having that financial cushion means that you're not scrambling or going into debt when things don't go as planned. So how much should you save? A good rule of thumb is to aim for 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This can feel overwhelming at first, so start small if you need to. Even a little bit saved consistently can add up over time. One tip that helped me was making it automatic. I set up a separate account just for my emergency fund and automated regular deposits. It's like paying a bill. You don't think about it, it just happens. I also kept this money accessible but separate. I parked it in a high interest savings account so I'm making a little bit of money on it. I made sure that it's out of sight and out of mind so it's less tempting to dip into it. Having an emergency fund gives me peace of mind. It's a safety net that lets me focus on my goals without worrying about the what-ifs. With my emergency fund sorted, I can now focus on saving for traveling and retirement. It feels good knowing that my money is going towards meaningful goals. Avoid comparison. Working in a law office can feel like an episode of Suits. Coworkers in designer clothing, luxury handbags, and talk of fancy vacations. It's tempting to feel like you need to match that lifestyle. But here's the thing. Just because everyone around you is living or appearing to live a fancy lifestyle doesn't mean that you need to. A lot of that success is just surface level, not worth jeopardizing your financial future to try to match it. Focus on your goals and your definition of success, not theirs. Many lawyers are juggling law school debt and other financial obligations. Don't put yourself into a worse position by trying to fit into this image of success. Splurge strategically. Treat yourself, but do it with intention. It's okay to spend on things that genuinely add value to your life, like upgrading your work wardrobe or traveling to new places, as long as you set limits and keep other expenses low. After all, what's the point of making money if you can't enjoy any of it? Here's what I mean by splurging strategically. Choose meaningful upgrades. Focus on spending money that truly enhances your life, rather than impulsive buys. The older I get, the more I care about experiences over possessions. That's why I spend less on things like clothes, so I can save up for better vacations. Ask the right questions. I always ask myself, will this purchase be worth it in the long run? For example, if I'm buying a $50 jacket, I think about whether I'll wear it at least 50 times. If the cost per wear makes sense, then it's worth the investment. I hope these tips help you navigate the financial changes as you transition from law student to lawyer. Remember, it's all about balance between enjoying your income and staying focused on your financial goals. If you found this helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, I've just launched a newsletter, the Juris Journey Journal, where I share my personal stories, career tips, and the highs and lows of being a lawyer. If you want in, check the link in the description box below to sign up. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.